Yeah!
Okay, everybody, welcome to part 3, chapter 3, whatever you want to call this. Today, we're going to be dividing. I have to remind myself like what we're doing in each of these because I'm making these as I go. Okay, so very distractible. Okay, so we're dividing one-step equations this time, okay? So last time we multiplied, and the time before that we added and subtracted. So this time we are dividing, okay? All right, so before we begin, you know the most important part of our lesson? We're going to take a time to be creative, and at the top right of your paper, if you would kindly put down your drawing for the day. Today, I'm going to be very original and draw yet another wonderful smiley. Oh wow, this one's, yikes, that is not going down. Another wonderful smiley face. Oh yeah, boom, boom. Oh yes. Perfect, okay. I don't know if that was really perfect, but it'll work for now. Okay, oh wait, actually, why am I erasing that? Leave him there, okay. Alrighty, so last time we talked about solving one-step equations by using multiplication. This time we're going to be talking about doing it with division, okay? The exact same rules. We're going to be getting x by itself. We're going to be doing to both sides at the same time. We're going to bring down our equal sign. We're going to remember that 1x is the same thing as x, and that's not a problem. All of that. So it's the same rules, just dividing instead. So piece of cake, okay? All right, so let's start with a few practice ones, and then I'll take you into some that you can work on your own. All right? So for number 1, let's say you've got p. Wow, there we go. That p was not very p-like. Okay, p divided by 3 equals 24. All right, some of you are going to see this and say, oh my God, that looks like a fraction. Because the truth is, all fractions really are division problems that never got worked out, okay? But that's fine. If it looks like a fraction, don't freak out. Just remember, p is being divided by 3. And so we're going to use the same rules we've been using. The opposite of whatever is being done to our letter. So if we got p divided by 3, the opposite of dividing by 3 is multiplying by 3. So I'm going to multiply, and here, let me space this out a little bit so we have a little more space to work with, okay? And you'll see why in just a second. We're going to multiply both sides by 3. So I'm going to multiply this by 3. That's what those parentheses are. And I'm going to multiply this by 3, okay? Actually, here, let me do it in a different color so it's easier for you to see. Going to multiply this by 3 and multiply this by, here, I can stick it in front because there's a bunch of space there. And multiply this by 3, okay? So 3 divided by 3 is 1. So here, I'm going to do this part right here first, okay? If I multiply this left side by 3, I'm trying to do this in a way where it's not confusing, where it's nice and clear. 3 divided by 3 is 1. So I'm going to bring my p down, and 3 divided by 3 is 1, so I'm going to multiply that by 1. P times 1, okay? Equals, and then 24 times 3, you can use a calculator for this, is 72, okay? P times 1 is the same thing as 1 times p, right? Right? Like, just be clear, p times 1 is the same as 1 times p. So 1p equals 72. And you remember, by the way, that this is our answer. 1p equals something. Or, remember, because that's not the cleanest way, if you all heard me preaching before, the cleanest way is to simply write p equals 72, because 1p and p are the same thing. And ta-da! You are done. That is it. If that seems simple, that's because it is. Remember, the key to working division problems is to multiply the whole thing by whatever is down here in the denominator. You got to multiply everything by that number, but as long as you do, it's going to work out to 1, which means that's already solved. Like the p part's already done, and you're done. Okay, let's work a couple more of these because I know that may be a little like upside down for some of you, but let's try it. All right, so number 2, let's say you've got x divided by 3 equals 4, okay? I see that it's being divided by 3, so that means I'm going to multiply this side by 3, and I'm going to multiply this side by 3, okay? Draw my bar. 3 divided by 3 is 1. So I'm going to do x times 1 because 3 divided by 3 is 1, and then I multiply that by the top, which is x. Bring down your equal sign. 4 times 3 is 12. 1x equals 12. Circle that. Or, if you want to be nice and clean, x equals 12. Okay? Piece of cake. If you got that, then you've got how to work division when it comes down to these one-step equations. If not, we're going to work 2 more here, and then we'll kind of make it a little bit harder. Okay? Number 3. Let's say you got m divided by 5 equals 20. Okay? The opposite of dividing by 5 is multiplying by 5. So, I'm going to multiply this by 5, and what I do to one side, I must do to the other. So multiply this by 5. Put my bar. 5 divided by 5 is 1, so I'm going to do 1m, bring down my equal sign. 20 times 5 is 100. Ta-da! You are done. Or, if you want to be clean, m equals 100. And ta-da! You are finished. That is it. Remember, if you get m or 1m, matters not for now. As long as you get that letter by itself, I'm happy with it, okay? All right, number 4. This one I want you to try to work without me. X divided by 10 equals 5. Take a few minutes and just give it a shot. Pause me here, because I'm going to work it out. What's all the yelling about? All right. Okay, here we go. All right, so the opposite of dividing by 10 is multiplying by 10. So you multiply your left side by 10, and you multiply your right side by 10. 10 divided by 10, and let's go ahead and bring down our bar. 10 divided by 10 is going to give you 1. And remember, we just talked about, fine, take that 1 and multiply it by x. Bring down your equal sign. So 1x equals, and then 5 times 10 is, that's right, 50. So 1x equals 50. And remember, we talked about, while you can leave it there, it's not the cleanest. So if you want to look clean out here, make sure you take your 1x and simply write it as x equals 50. And ta-da! You are done. Okay? So that's how you're going to work these in a very simple environment. Okay? What we're going to do next is kind of take it and just add a few things to it. Okay? So let's do this. Let's say you've got x divided by 3 plus 1 equals 12. Okay? Let's do the simple stuff first. We've talked about this before. Let's do the simple stuff first. So, if you subtract 1 from both sides, because what you do to one side, you must do to the other, you're going to zero that out, and that's going to leave you with x divided by 3 equals 11, because 12 minus 1 is 11. Here, let me kind of get this a little cleaner. Okay? Now you're left with something that we actually recognize, right? It's just a division on the x, and it's just the equal sign of numbers. So now that you're there, the opposite of dividing by 3 is multiplying by 3, okay? So let's multiply the left side by 3, the right side by 3. Put our bar, and you can do, do as many bars as you need. 3 divided by 3 is 1, so I'm going to go 1x equals, and then 11 times 3 is 33. And ta-da! You are finished. That's how you work a multi-step one, okay? Same rules, just a few extra steps. Let's try another one that has an extra step in it. Actually, let's work one more of those, okay? X divided by 5 plus 10 equals 20, okay? Let's do, and pause it here in case you want to work it on your own, okay? All right, hopefully you've already done that. So the opposite of adding 10 is subtracting 10. So we're going to subtract 10 from there, subtract 10 from here, and that zeroes these out. And then you're left, let's go ahead and bring down your x divided by 5, because you haven't done anything with that yet. bring down your equal sign. 20 minus 10 is 10. And now you've got something that looks really familiar to us, okay? This looks familiar. We just have x divided by something equals something. So at this point, it's really easy. So the opposite of divided by 5 is multiplying by 5. And you do so by both sides. 5 divided by 5 is 1, so that leaves you with 1x. Bring down your equal sign. And then 10 times 5 is 50. And that is it, my friends. Piece of cake. Easy peasy. Okay? Now, let's try something a step harder, okay? Let's do, and when I say harder, it's not really harder. It just adds in another step. Let's say 2x divided by 4 equals 5. Okay? Same rules. Same rules. We got to get x alone. Whatever we do to one side, we got to do the other, okay? So, let's get that division out of there first, okay? So, let's multiply this side by 4 and multiply this side by 4, okay? 4 and put our bar. 4 divided by 4 gives us 1. So we've got 1 times 2x equals, and then bring this on down, 20. Now some of you may be looking like, wait, Mike, I thought when you did this, that just turned that into 1x. No, you take that 1 and multiply it by whatever is up here. So notice up here, when we had 5 divided by 5, that gave us 1, and we multiplied it by x. That gave us 1x. So when we're down here and we get 1, we multiply that 1 times 2x, which is why we've got 1 times 2x right here, okay? So when you're using this, just remember, you're gonna get 1 and you just multiply it by the top. So I know so far it's always given us 1x, but the only reason we're getting 2x this time is because we're really just taking 1 and multiplying it by the top, okay? So fine, I'm gonna leave that just like that. Or actually, I'm gonna kind of erase that, get that out of the way. All right, now let's go to our next step. 1 times 2x is 2x, and 2x equals 20, because I'm just gonna bring all that stuff down. Now we've got something that we've worked before in a previous lesson. 2x equals 20. So the opposite of multiplying by 2 is dividing by 2. So you divide that, 2 divided by 2 is 1. Bring down your x, just like we did before. 1x equals, bring down your division, your equal, and then 20 divided by 2 is 10. And we are finished. Boom. Or, if you want to make it clean, x equals 10. And ta-da! You are finished. Guys, that was a doozy. Really good. Really, really good. I'm going to give you some practice problems to work on your own, and then I'm going to give you the answers right afterwards. Because I'm running out of breath, and I gotta take a break. All right, so here we go. I'm going to give you x divided by 5 equals 20. Here, let me number these. Ooh, we're much clearer now. Ooh, had a little bit of time. Okay, so your battery died. We're gonna do a quick sync. 1, 2, 3. All right, so your battery died before we could actually get to the practice problems before. So I got you charged up, changed out, and now you're ready. So you can see, like, in the meantime, I made your practice problems. So let's just take a quick look at them, and then you need to pause it so you can work on them, and then I'll give you the answers. All right, so zoom in a little bit here. All right, so you've got x divided by 5 equals 20. I'm not really gonna read all these out, actually, now that I think about it. So just take a look at these practice problems. Let me finish making this one over here. And then I'll give you the answers here in a little bit. Try to work them out on your own. Remember, start with the simplest stuff first, then work into your multiplication division. Remember, you can do whatever you want to these problems as long as what you do to one side, you do to the other, and you ultimately get the letter alone. Whether it be X, A, B, C, D, it does not matter. It could be elephant. That does not matter. Get it alone. And remember, I'm happy with it being 1x or x. It does not matter because they both mean the same thing. Remember that doing x equals a number is cleaner, it is better, so if you want to be super fresh, do that, but 1x will be fine too, okay? So take a minute, look at these practice problems, pause the video now, and then we'll give you the answers shortly after. Okay? Now hopefully if you're watching the rest of this, you've already answered the problem. So if you have not answered them yet, do not continue forward. I am giving you a warning right now, don't you move on, because I'm about to put the answers. So take a minute, work them through, give it a shot. And I'm cool with you getting it wrong. Getting it wrong is part of being good at math. You gotta get it wrong enough times to know what right looks like. So give it a second. Last warning, because here come the answers. All right, here they go. Okay, so your answer to number 1 is gonna be 100. Your answer to number 2 is gonna be 36. Your answer to number 3 is gonna be 30. Your answer to number 4 is going to be -4. Your answer to number 5 is going to be -24. I had a small hesitation because I had to work them out in my head as we were going. All right, so if you got all those, wait, sorry. Oh Lord, missed number 5. And your answer to number 5 is 35. All right, so hopefully all those made sense to you. You got them. And in our next video, we're gonna bring all these things together. Now, if any of this was confusing, just rewind the video and take another look. If any of that is still not enough, you can do one of a few things. You can actually leave a comment here in this video just letting me know. I'll post a video with some more practice problems, just working it kind of slowly and throughly. And if you go to our school, and I'm not gonna name the name of the school because it's on the internet, but if you're at our school, then you know which school it is, then let your teacher know that you want some extra time tutoring, and then we'll get you set up with some tutoring. That way you can have some extra help, okay? But okay, if you made it this far, congratulations. You have just done everything you need to know, in the basics at least, for working algebraic expressions. Now there's obviously other stuff that comes along down the path, but if you can master this, you're well on the way, honey. So really good job. On our next video, we're gonna tie it all together, work a little bit of everything, and that's gonna be a pretty in-depth one. So I think we're gonna call that like a practice test video, and I'll work a lot of them. That way, if you got a test or a quiz coming up, if you go through that video and you feel comfortable about that video, you're gonna crush your test. So definitely take a look at that. Okay, see you in the next, and stay awesome.